Welcome to the Goth and the Sloth. I'm your Sloth, Matt.
And I'm Luna the Goth.
This is the podcast of two friends living a country apart, living our best lives, and getting over surgeries.
Yeah. I'm alive.
So we are back after 2 weeks. So, as a reminder, we are covering the COVID-19 pandemic for the first part of our podcast. It was only supposed to be a temporary measure, but turned to be a whole year's worth of fun.
Here we are.
So yeah, back after 2 weeks. How you feeling? How's everything going?
I am feeling awesome, actually. I uh I'm still, recovering in like the smaller senses,
Mm-hmm.
the more intricate stuff, but like I feel pretty freaking great and I can eat things. So, I'm pretty happy about that. I don't know if they implanted things in me. We'll find out. Maybe something is I don't know, but as of right now, I'm pretty pleased.
Very awesome.
So how are things with you?
You know, they are what they are. We'll get into more detail in a bit, but
It
Thanksgiving was good. How's your Thanksgiving? Were you able to
was actually
eat
pretty
stuff?
good. Yeah. Huh?
Were you able to eat stuff?
I did eat things. I
That's always
had
good.
steak and mashed potatoes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into it. What's going on in the Greater Virginia area these days?
So, uh after not looking at anything for a while, these numbers were kind of like little slaps across the face.
Yeah.
Um, so we're at 233,613 cases, which is up about 43,000 from 2 weeks ago. Um, and we're at 14,516 hospitalizations, which is up about 2,500. And then our deaths are at 4,054 people, which is up about 350 people
Wow.
in 2 weeks. We still only have 11 cases of multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children. And I like looked at um, some of the numbers about like what percentage of ICU beds are we at and stuff like that. Virginia's at about 75%
Mm-hmm.
uh, at capacity. However, that doesn't include our like surge beds. So like if things get really bad. The thing about surge beds though for me is like where are they? Like if it gets really bad down in Roanoke and the surge beds are in Arlington, like that's not going to do anything. So, I don't really know how to read the surge bed situation for an entire state.
Yeah. Maybe they're
Uh
in cans of Surge that they have off to the side, and they open that up, and
oh
the
dear
bed
lord.
pops out.
Would that not be the most 2020 thing like, oh, this virus is ravaging our population. The cure is surge. Oh Lord, that's a bad movie waiting to be made.
Man.
Um, that being said, uh, those numbers, I mean, we're recording this a weekend of Thanksgiving, so
Yep.
you know, which despite the pandemic in general, this is still closing in on being the biggest travel holiday of the year.
Yeah.
Still.
Absolutely.
So officials and many individuals are
Mm-hmm.
concerned that about what this is going to mean in a couple of weeks and like whatever it does mean in a couple of weeks, that's going to be our baseline for the December holiday travel season. So I don't know. I think just yeah,
Yep.
not
Yeah.
great.
Along those lines, our mayor, the Denver mayor, got some notoriety. I think nationally
I saw
because
that.
for that exact reason, where he's like, no, everyone needs to stay home. Don't see your families. Blah 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 blah. And then he takes a flight to Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah, I saw
So
that because I was like, and it wasn't even like Denver news. Like it was like other like
yeah, no, it got it.
general
Yeah,
news.
it caught on.
I was like, why is Mayor Hancock in the news? Oh, Not good, not good, buddy.
Yeah, that's if he wasn't already termed out, that would pretty much be it for him. I'm pretty sure, but he
Yeah,
is termed out, so I guess he can do whatever he wants because it doesn't matter.
I guess so. I guess that's how that works now.
It is.
Yay.
Hooray!
I do have one other news story that I wanted to mention. In El Paso, Texas, on November 20th, the National Guard was sent in to help with the current morgue crisis happening there due to a wave of deaths due to COVID. The county judge, Ricardo Semeniego, murdered that last name, I'm so sorry, told CNN affiliate KVIA, quote, right now they're helping us with the overflow of transporting where the trailers are and trying to get some movement so we don't have backup. We've got a lot of loved ones waiting for relatives and moms and dads. So it's a pretty grim sight. They had prisoners, they were paying prisoners $2 an hour to move dead
Hmm.
bodies because it was just they were just so backed up. Um, and this brings me to teeny tiny soapbox, which is lest we forget, the goal is to flatten the
Hmm.
curve. And what that means, again, is a lower rate of infection so that a wall of humans don't need hospital beds and all at the same time, and then some are denied care, and then boom, deaths increase to even more terrifying numbers than what they are
Yep.
right now. A personal anecdote, my brother-in-law's cousin, someone I've never met in person, he lived in Florida, became ill with COVID in April. Went to the ER, was told to go home because he didn't have like ongoing shortness of breath. His symptoms weren't bad enough to admit him because in Florida it was nuts, so they had to up their, you know, baseline for
Yep.
admitting people. And he died 2 days later in his home. And he was in his mid
Wow.
30s. So it's like, I know this is one person, but it's like you need those individual anecdotes to kind of fill in what we're like the in between the lines of all of the national coverage and state coverage and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. It's just we have to flatten the curve, guys. Come on. Anyway, all right. What about you? What's going on in Colorado? I'll get off my little
No,
soapbox.
that's fine. Not good things. So we're at 220,953 cases. Since we were gone 2 weeks, I went ahead and went average per day since we've been gone, since our
Mm-hmm.
last recording. We're roughly averaging about 5,000 cases a day
Mm.
since we've been gone. We're at 13,287 hospitalizations. We're averaging 160 a day.
Mm.
Not good.
Ouch.
And 2,521 deaths, averaging 17 deaths every single day from COVID.
Whoa. That's
So,
it's so bad. I mean, you guys were so far behind where, Virginia was for so long and now you're catching up. Like
yeah, no, we're
we're
now,
almost neck and neck.
well, according to CDC, we're now the 13th most cases by state.
Wow.
So we have jumped right back up there. Because of that, we're fully closed down for the most part. All indoor dining is closed. All
Oh,
bars
really?
that
I
are
didn't
bars are
realize
closed.
everything was like closed. I saw some new restrictions, but all of that's out the window. It's all closed now.
Yeah, they're allowing outdoor dining still. So they actually made a new color on our warning sheet
No, no.
to try and find this halfway in between sort of maybe like thing. So instead of closing everything, they've done this like, well, if you can do outdoor dining, but then again, it's Colorado in November. You don't do outdoor dining.
Ah, it's cold. It's so cold.
Um,
I mean, unless I am sitting directly under one of those heat lamp things, like
yeah.
I'm, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of bars are all bars that are just bars are all closed. I think everyone has to close at like 9 o'clock, or at least the restaurants do. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
any retail as of yet, like blockages or. But I know most places are only allowed 15% of capacity. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what
Wow.
that means for retail, but I do know I did have to go to Target today, and it was not like the weekend of Thanksgiving Target.
Oh,
You
really?
know, you would imagine it would be nuts. It usually is nuts. I worked there for 5 years, and the whole entire weekend of Thanksgiving is insane. And this one
Yeah.
was like I had to wait, 5 minutes in line at the register. So,
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Hmm.
so I don't know. Hopefully, people are taking it to heart to not go out, but
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, well, I think that it also depends on where you are, right? Like
hmm
the week before Thanksgiving, let's say, what was that? That was like Monday. It was Monday of Thanksgiving week. So this
hmm
past Monday, I don't know what is time. I've been
right?
laying around my apartment for 2 weeks. Um, but we went to get gas at Costco. And I was
hmm
like, this is my first outing into the world. I'm gonna go with you to get gas. I'm gonna sit in the car. And and I went and the Costco parking lot was packed. Like packed.
Wow.
It was crazy. Like it we got gas and then it took us like a solid 5 minutes to get out of the parking lot because of traffic. It
Wow.
was just nuts. And like it looked like that at Kroger, it looked like that everywhere. Like I don't think it depends on where you are. Like I think
Yeah.
that um we don't have these really stringent, like we do have more stringent guidelines that they put in place because of the new, like basically because of a bunch of bars and restaurants were breaking a bunch of rules.
hmm
Um and so they did put us on like, basically they made it enforceable if you're not like doing the cleaning.
Sure.
Like
Okay.
so now health department, I think people can go around and if you're not doing it, it's like a misdemeanor and you have to pay a bunch of money or whatever as a business.
hmm
Before it was like, please. um and then like they put some, like you can't serve alcohol like at a bar anymore. Like you have to serve like a restaurant, so you have to put people at
Only
tables and then
table
have them,
service. Yeah.
yeah, table service. So they finally put that in place because we had a problem where a bunch of people were just like walking in the door of a bar with masks on and then taking their masks off and doing whatever they wanted. Um, and then they did no alcohol after 10 p.m. So
Wow.
yeah, like that
Yeah.
it's something. It's not as crazy of a lockdown as what's happening where you are.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird, because I keep hearing like, oh, the stores are empty, and then also being like, oh, there's a crazy line outside of Best Buy because they didn't do the overnight thing. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and my sample size is very small too. I went to one Target for you know.
I guess that's literally the smallest sample
Yeah.
size you can. Anyway, all right. So what
So
else is going on?
another story kind of interesting is, have you heard about what's going on in Slovakia?
No.
So they've been very low up until October. They've been doing
Okay.
really good with it, and then they had a big spike. And they are the first country to implement mass testing for all adults in the entire country.
Whoa.
So they're essentially going to be trying to put everyone under house arrest until you have a negative test.
Huh.
You have to stay at your
That's like,
home. You can't leave until you've had a negative test.
I mean that, wow, that's incredible. I mean that
Yeah.
that is literally like the way it should in a perfect world happen. Of course that would
Yeah.
never happen in the United
Oh
States.
no.
But like, let's say, God forbid this disease or Bob or whoever it is
Hmm.
that you pray to. It's more vernacular. but but like if this virus or another virus down the road is like, you know, Ebola meets tuberculosis meets like, aliens popping out of your stomach, like horrifically deadly, like 99% chance you'll die. That's, I think, what would happen is that everybody would be in lockdown exactly where you are until you're tested, and then you can, live a life, sort of.
Exactly. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, they're taking it super serious, and it's a difference in countries
Hmm.
again. Like how New Zealand hasn't had a case in like a month now, something like that. I'd have to double check the numbers, but because they took it so seriously so early,
Weird.
um,
Oh my God.
right? Australia, they had multiple lockdowns, but every time it kept their cases low, and once it peaks again, they lock everyone down again. I think it was Thailand. I was trying to double check. I couldn't find the story again, but there was a concert in some southern Asian country, like a big one, because they were celebrating 200 days without a case of COVID.
Whoa.
And so they're allowed to go to concerts.
It's so frustrating. I've been having this like visceral reaction lately when I've been talking to my family about holidays and like how they're probably not going to happen. I mean, like, they're not going to
Hmm.
happen.
Right?
Like, so it's just, like talking about how, oh man, like my dad's turning 70 this year, and there's like a lot going on, and it would have been so great to see each other. And of course, we're thinking about like holidays past and stuff. But every time I like have these conversations, I end up with this visceral like upswell of like, oh, I'm so mad at Trump
Yeah.
because
I'm.
he totally, like, if he would have made different choices at the beginning and listened to the scientists and everybody else, we would be in a
Yep.
very different spot right now. And the US is leading in deaths, like per
Yeah.
capita. Like, it's just sad and
Yeah. We have
infuriating.
like we still have like 3% of the world's population overall, something like that. Yet a quarter of the COVID
Yeah,
deaths
it's
in the entire world.
disgusting. Ugh. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. On top of that, have you heard about Christmas in England? I thought this was a funny story.
No.
They're, they're gonna give lockdown day off on Christmas. At least last I heard.
What?
So apparently, COVID's just gonna take a vacation for a day, and everyone can go do whatever they want on
Huh.
Christmas.
Did they talk to COVID about this?
Can you take one day off? Be really
Like,
great.
I don't know if COVID's gonna hold up its side of the deal. Like, it's a slippery motherfucker.
It's weird, and yeah, they're another one that are not doing great. So, and that this is exactly why it's a perfect illustration of why. Like, yeah, people are gonna bitch, and people are gonna be like, "Nah, nah, 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 my freedoms, blah blah blah. Got to see my family," and it's like, but if you don't see them this year, that means you can see them years later because they don't get sick and
Yeah,
die.
totally. Like,
So,
I was thinking about to my parents, like, I was like, well, I mean, maybe we can have a spring meal, like gathering, or a,
yeah,
summer gathering, or whatever. We'll just pick a season. We'll show up, and we can still make turkey if that's what everyone wants, but nobody wants that. So we'll just eat delicious Trinidadian food and call it a day.
yeah,
I don't know. It's just my parents are old, as most of ours are if you're our age.
yeah,
And I just am not willing to like risk it like that. I don't know. Anyway, I guess I'm
yeah,
different, so.
yeah. Well, I like I quarantined for like 3 weeks prior to Thanksgiving so I could see family.
Yeah.
And I think other people could have done that sort of thing, but no one, like, they're all, oh, I gotta see my grandma. Well, fine, quarantine for weeks before you
Yeah,
do it.
totally.
But no one wants to take that sacrifice because it's not actually about seeing grandma for most people.
Right.
It's about raising a stink,
Hmm.
about freedoms.
Yeah, or like the seeing grandma is 100, well, I won't say 100%, is mostly selfish and not so much about grandma. It's about you seeing your grandma, not how much you
Yep.
care about your grandma.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
shade thrown, but whatever.
but it's true. I keep seeing all the complaints like you can't tell me what to do on Thanksgiving. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we
can.
can. It's the government.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
but like, if you really wanted to have a regular Thanksgiving, there's ways to have it safely. You just have to sacrifice some extra things on top of that.
yeah, absolutely.
And
I mean, my whole thing is like, well, I don't know. I won't beat this horse to death, so
we got time. It's
yeah,
fine.
it's okay. Yeah, you carry on, carry on.
And that's pretty much all I had for national and local news. Besides our mayor being a giant dickhead.
That is
Uh,
so weird. What a weird choice. I am a public
right?
figure. I am telling you to stay home. Goodbye.
And on the complete opposite end, our governor had an exposure, so he was totally quarantined for all of Thanksgiving,
Oh
like
wow. Yeah.
by himself in the mayor's mansion, and even sent all his staff home and
Oh,
everything.
good for him. God. At
And
least keep your staff safe.
yeah, exactly. So what's going on in Luna's world on top of you losing an organ?
Mostly that. I um yeah, I don't have a whole lot of news other than like, yo, I feel so much better.
That's
Good
great. Like, it's almost
riddance.
like an immediate feel better
Well,
kind of.
yeah, like it is kind of, but at the same time, like not really, because the first few days you're like, I hate everything. I can only feel pain, blah, blah, blah. But then after that goes away, then you're like, oh, oh.
Ah,
So here I'm at like a little, almost 2 weeks after it, and I feel pretty great. Like I can eat delicious things and cookies and cupcakes, and very happy about it.
very good.
Yeah, and there's no like,
Yeah, it's like the ultimate body mod. Like, oh, you got your nose pierced. Well, I took out an organ. Gallbladders are for posers.
yeah. Yeah, so I was here with my partner for the first week, and it was pathetic. There was that moment of like after surgery where I was like a pathetic little burrito, like laying in blankets, like, uh, and the meds like didn't really touch it. I mean, it did. It did help. It
Mm-hmm.
again, I always feel like with opiates, like it just kind of makes you loopy enough to forget that you care that you're in pain, but you still feel it.
Sure. Yeah.
So I didn't sleep very well the first couple nights because I was like, owie. But then after a little while, I was able to dose myself with Tylenol PM, and then yeah, I was off the opiates in about 3 days, and then I was just whiny and sore. And now I have new topography of the midriff that I'll have to get used to. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it was successful. It went well. Yeah.
good. And it can always be worse because it could have been like if you had this like in the 80s, you'd have just probably like a big
Oh
old scar
God,
up your
yeah.
belly or something.
Yeah, and that would have taken like 6 weeks to get over. Like, oh,
Yep.
so thankful. That was like my big thing. I was like, I just don't want to fall asleep and then wake up and there's like a giant gash across my side because they had to like go in a different way or whatever. But nope, that didn't happen. I just hung out. The people at the hospital I went to were awesome. It was actually the first medical experience where everyone was rad. Um,
Nice.
and especially apparently, this is my partner's words, because I don't remember very well, but apparently the food people that like, because I was admitted to the hospital after for observation and stuff, and
Okay. Yeah.
the food people, the people that bring you your liquid diet,
Mm-hmm.
were so like jazzed and happy and like really full of personality and cheerful and stuff. And I don't remember that too well, but good for them.
Keeping it happy during the worst time ever. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was a really cool, humbling experience that I'm happy is over.
Good.
So I'm back.
Back.
Yeah. What's going on with you?
Oh, so
I know,
much.
I know. Tell the good people what's
So
happening.
yeah, everything that's happened in the 2 weeks all gets trumped by what happened Thanksgiving evening into last night is my car got stolen.
Womp womp.
Wah, wah. So I when I got parked at the end of after Thanksgiving, I had all these leftovers, and I had my laptop, and I had some tripods because I set up like a Zoom meeting for my family, so we can have it on the TV. So it's just easier, so we're not all huddled around, a laptop. So I was like, well, make sure I get my laptop because I don't like my area, and get the food. And I was like, don't worry about the tripods. I don't think anyone's gonna steal the tripods,
Famous last words.
right? And I go to get the tripods the next day to record a video, and I couldn't find it, and I hit the little clicker on my button, like I don't I don't see anything. Click, 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 click. God damn
Oh,
it. So I had to first call, the towing company that tows for us to make sure they didn't pick it up for whatever reason.
right.
Like eliminate the easiest things first,
Yeah.
and they did not pick it up. Eventually, I did find the key lock after I called the cops, but I did find the key lock that they ripped open from the door. So they like ham fisted the door.
Yeah.
And I got the GPS going on my phone to find the car. And here's a fun story about how useless the cops still are.
Yeah.
So I got that going, and when I finally connected, because I didn't pay for it, so so I was like, well, I'll pay for it now, and then I'll find my car. And it took a while to everything to register and it to ping. And when I finally hit up, I called the cops like, hey, it's over here. So here's the first story. So I'm in Arapahoe County. I call them up and like, hey, that car I reported stolen under this case number, it's here right now. Like, oh, well, that's Denver. Let me send you over to the Denver
Oh
department.
my God.
By the time it gets worse, by the time I got to Denver and I refreshed, it was now in Aurora. They had to transfer me to the Aurora department.
Oh my God.
And they just like they just basically took the basic area and the description of the car, and that's about it. So I called Blue Link because my car's a Hyundai, and that's their OnStar, and that's where I was getting this GPS info. And I was hoping they could shut it down. Apparently, my car doesn't have that option to shut off the
Oh
engine.
no.
But they talked to the police apparently, and they even came back like, yeah, they didn't sound like they really wanted that information.
Oh, come on.
Like the information of this stolen car is literally right here.
God.
Would you like to go pick it up? And to make it even worse, at least for me, is once you report it stolen with Blue Link, they disable your account. So you don't get that GPS info. I'm assuming it's so people don't,
Oh, go
get
go to it
get a posse together and get it.
and then get
But
shot.
I actually I actually called them this morning since I called the cops and didn't hear anything. And it's like, well, you should have found it by now because we have GPS info. So
Yeah.
what are you doing? And so it's still quote at large, and I can't get any more information outside of that because it's the weekend and the clerk's people aren't there, so they won't tell me anything.
Uh,
So what I did is I called Blue Link up. It's like it was totally recovered. It was it recovered. You can unlock my account anytime, and So they should. It hasn't happened yet, but they're going to hopefully unlock my account so I can get that GPS info again.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to spy on my car.
Oh, Lord.
I won't interact, but if I see it parked with no one around, I'm going to call the cops and be like, hey, I did your job for you. The stolen car's right here. You want to come get it? Because I'm right here.
Right.
And you may want to come for my safety, too.
Right. Good God. How
So,
frustrating.
yeah, so all the nice modernness of cars that we thought would help so much to not get stolen, like the chip in the key so it won't start unless it's got the proper key and if it's unlocked properly. Yeah, somehow they're able to bypass that. The whole, well, here's your car, we can just go get it. So that apparently, at least in Colorado, is useless to police. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to bother with it.
That's annoying. I just, well,
It's,
apparently they needed, they need tanks and
yep,
insane weapons, but they can't friggin' find your car. And it's really frustrating. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. That
it
is
is.
like, the last thing you needed this year, maybe?
Right? And yeah, I was actually only had like 3,000 left to pay on it too,
Oh,
so
come
almost paid
on.
off. And I also found out because it's a Hyundai, that's apparently Korean cars are now the big
Oh,
stealing
yeah.
ticket item.
Oh, yeah.
I was unaware of this. I thought it was still Hondas.
Mm-mm.
No, it's moved to Hyundais.
It has. I
So,
don't know why, but it has.
I mean, have you seen my car? It's pretty badass.
Okay, buddy. Friend. Sit down.
So yeah, no, just gonna have to go through all that. I got a loaner car right now, and not that I really drive anywhere,
Right.
but at least it'll get me to the grocery
Yeah.
store.
Yeah. Oh,
So
Lord. Well, despite all of that, how was your Thanksgiving though? Like, what did you do? What did you eat?
Thanksgiving was good. I technically had two Thanksgivings, which was fun.
Mm.
So I had a friend that made a bunch of meals to give out to single people that were having Thanksgivings because she always makes too much turkey, and I was like, "Oh, put me on that. Screw it." Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also contributed some chutzpah to that,
Nice.
which is mashed corn and potato, or it's mashed carrots and potatoes. So it's like the next evolution in mashed potatoes. It's really good.
The next evolution.
I went to my parents, and it was also my nephew's birthday because he's born right around Thanksgiving. Obviously, depending on the year, because Thanksgiving's never the same day. So we had a birthday party slash Thanksgiving, so that was fun.
Cute.
And then when I got home, I had another Thanksgiving meal in my fridge waiting for me.
That's awesome.
So
Yay.
ate a ton of food. I attempted to make a pie crust for the first time ever from scratch.
It was very cute.
It, it didn't quite work. I just got it tasted good. What happened was I didn't roll it out enough. I need to roll it out more to cause for shrinkage when you do the blind bake.
Yeah.
So that was the only part that was missing, but I did buy a backup crust, so
Ta-da!
I was like, so I still had pumpkin pie that I made, just the crust was not my crust.
Fair.
But good stuff. Yeah, no, it was still a good Thanksgiving. Just family and all that. A little bit better than most Thanksgivings, to be honest, because my family's very large and it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. Because I have 4 cousins and each one of them have at least one kid.
Do they all come for
And
Thanksgiving?
we have, yeah.
Oh. None of my family lived in the same area. Like, my family's huge, but everybody would, like, somebody was going to have to fly out across the country.
Uh, yeah, no, we all live in Metro Denver,
Huh.
essentially.
Wow. Cool.
So it gets, but it can get incredibly like there's too many people. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I get that.
But so it was nice to have a kind of smaller one where we can just relax a bit.
Good.
And we attempted to have a Zoom meeting. It technically worked, but Zoom meetings with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, it's mostly screaming.
Yeah.
What? What'd you say?
What? How are you? No, no, not you. I already talked. No, you.
Yep. Yep. And if there's a kid anywhere
Yeah.
around, wow, he's so big.
Yeah. And yeah, we had fighting dogs the entire time in the background
Oh,
too.
Lord. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, so it went as well as it could be, but the day itself was pretty good. And then over our break, I've been doing a lot of writing of music,
Yeah.
so that's been good. The band's been on a break because a bunch of COVID scares.
Yeah.
So we're having our first practice
Oh,
tomorrow as
nice.
well because everyone that's around someone that had it no longer has any symptoms or anything. So
Cool.
we think we're safe. So yeah.
Yay. That's
And
awesome.
on top of that, we're getting booked for shows for next year
Oh,
already.
Lord. I know everybody's like eager and hopeful, but it's like,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah, we're taking it exactly as that of like, sure, we'll do it. If you're not open though, we're not, it is what it
Right.
is. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so hopefully we'll be paying Lost Lake and maybe Larimer Lounge.
Ooh, fun. I
So,
like Lost Lake. That's a fun spot.
yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's about it. I don't know if we have a topic this week, really. If we were just going to discuss stuff that happened during the break,
Yeah,
or
so
what are we
basically
doing?
it's a catch-up episode, and we have talked a lot about COVID and each of us what we've been up to. Um, but I'm just gonna kind of timestamp us on where we're at with the presidential stuff.
Perfect.
So, uh, essentially, the biggest news that you need to know that has happened between the last time we recorded and now is that Joe Biden will be the 46th president of the United States, and Kamala Harris will be the, I don't know, number of vice president.
Yeah, because there's been multiple vice president.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not always the same, too. I don't know. It's a good question.
But
But does he have to win Georgia like 5 or 6 more times before he
yeah, who
becomes
the hell
president?
knows? I mean, how many more times do you need to win to win? So yeah, the big thing here, and what we're joking about is that the current president, of course, is making a stink about it, and he's launched several lawsuits, which I think is over 30 lawsuits,
I
um,
think so.
to battle this decision as saying that it's a super fraudulent election, blah yada yada yada. Um,
Blah, blah, blah.
but none of it has stuck. Um, I This is like mostly what I wanted to talk about. So, the U.S.
Yeah.
District Court Judge Matthew Brann delivered a scathing ruling in Pennsylvania that sums up the spirit of this whole election lawsuit effort from the president.
Okay.
Quote, this court has been unable to find a case in which a plaintiff has sought such a drastic remedy in the contest of an election in terms of the sheer volume of votes asked to be invalidated. One might expect that when seeing such a startling outcome, a plaintiff would come formidably armed with compelling legal arguments and factual proof of rampant corruption. Instead, this court has been presented with strained legal arguments without merit and speculative accusations unsupported by evidence. In the United States of America, this cannot justify the disenfranchisement of a single voter, let alone all the voters of its sixth most populated state. like, I'm like, damn.
Oh, snap. That was a Georgia judge,
No,
right?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, so that's the one that was even Trump appointed judge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And yeah, he's basically saying, yeah, so they're just going, I don't like the outcome. We need to look again. But why?
I
Uh,
don't like it.
I don't like it.
It's like, and to be clear, I don't mind that they filed lawsuits where they thought there was fraud. If you think there's fraud, file a lawsuit because rulings can often offer like decisive blows here and there. It
Yeah.
just sucks that it is such a waste of time and taxpayer money because of his ego, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like it's just. it's embarrassing, frankly, but so has been
It
being an
is.
American for the last 4 years.
Oh God, you have no idea. I was listening to a sidebar, but still
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I was listening to my friend Kaz. He does streams where he just talks about political stuff
Hmm.
all the time, and he was on a stream with it was him. He's from England, someone from Scotland, and someone from Canada, and they were shit talking America so bad, and I was like, but they're accurate,
Yeah, you
so
can't say anything to them at this point. Like, we have fallen in the global arena. It's embarrassing. And it's embarrassing even more to me. And this is, like, do not construe this as me saying that I don't, like, that I'm not happy that where I live or whatever. Like, I
yeah.
don't necessarily want to, like, full scale live in another country because this is, the life that I'm trying to build. Like, I
Hmm.
believe in the American values. Like, I believe we can be a better country if we just follow our own damn rules.
Right.
but um but goddamn, like, we have w- like we needed to look in the mirror. Like, and it's
Yeah.
embarrassing when people are still like, we are the greatest, we're the best. And it's like, yo, like, they've seen behind the curtain. Like, the
Yeah.
world has seen how we disenfranchise millions of people in this country. Like, the world has seen how poorly the police treat their citizens and
Hmm.
how our medical system is trash. And, like, we can't keep pretending. Like,
Yeah.
we just have
No,
to fix it.
yeah, we're essentially the 2003 Browns
Ooh.
going, "We're number 1." We're like,
God.
"No, you ostensibly are not. You are 0 and 13. You are not number 1 at all."
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's frustrating, and it's hard, like, to have the conversations with people because there seems to be such a divide. And I think that's going
It
to be our
is.
big challenge going forward is, how do we function as such a divided country?
Yeah, and I have a hard time kind of reconciling that too because I know you can't continue to yell at a minority that already feels like they've been
Mhm.
disenfranchised or picked on or whatever.
Mhm.
But also, it's a whole lot of people that went in on being shitty for 4 years.
Mhm.
Like they went full in on being shitty, and there has to be, you know, consequences to that. You can't just roll up your flag like I see a lot of TikToks doing, going, let's just get back together. I'm
Yeah.
going to put away my Trump banner. Like, no, no, no,
No,
no.
like, because it, and I've been trying to think of how to explain this for someone that doesn't see it this way, right? That someone that's
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe not that person, not the person that was like, screaming in people's faces about Trump 2020, but like,
Yeah.
someone that's a little bit more center, who is like, all right, well, this didn't go the way I was kind of hoping it would go, but maybe it'll be all right. Like, just because I voted for Trump, maybe don't hate me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for that person and those people, if there are any, I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
I'm notoriously naive, so who knows. But to those people, I just want to emphasize that, like, this isn't like a team sport situation. Like, this isn't like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, my team won, your team lost. We'll get you next time. Like, that's not what's happening right now. This is a situation where people's lives and livelihoods have been on the chopping block because of the people you supported.
Yeah.
And now you're asking those people to forget that you supported people who were saying all lives matter, and, you know there's no systemic racism in this country. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we can't just be like, oh, it's cool that you thought that, let's just pretend you never said that. It's like, no, now we know what's in your heart. You have shown that you don't care about me and my life and my
Yeah.
future and anyone that looks like me. Like, that's not something I can just forget. This isn't a, "Oh, the Broncos are crap this year. Well, I hope we get you next time." You know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah,
um
these are people's lives. This is
yeah,
bigger, and
and
this isn't a game.
exactly, and I think that what comes up a lot is, like, economics, like, "Oh, well, I'm feeling really picked on as a business owner, as a rich person." Well, I don't know any rich people, but like, I've my taxes went up or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
I understand that that to you relates to food on the table. And I appreciate that. I get that that can feel scary when you're like, "Oh, I have more taxes to pay, so, uh, you know, I'm not I'm going to be really against these efforts." But it's like,
Hmm.
again, your, you know, money's quote unquote food on the table that actually includes your, you know, butt ton of savings that I don't have. I literally have no
Yeah.
savings. I'm in crazy medical debt at this point.
Yeah.
like like I like, you have savings, you have comfort, you have all of these things that you take for granted every day, and I know that that's comfortable. I don't necessarily want you to be uncomfortable, but I want you to consider how many people are suffering so that you can have that. Um so of course, I don't think the answer would be like, "Oh, I suddenly care." I think they'd be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
I want my comfort. So whatever, eat the rich. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know,
it's
but I
it.
keep thinking, like I said, I'm struggling. I continue to struggle with how do I frame this in a way that someone could hear it because they're just not hearing it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, and I'm having a hard time reconciling it too, because like if all the voting records somehow got leaked and 7 million people maybe lost their jobs because they voted for a piece of shit, I don't know if I'd be that angry, but also I know that would just cause more
Of
problems.
course, that's how we got World War II.
Exactly. You can't have that sort of retribution. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, kind of, you went all in on being shitty. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a sticky situation. I'm definitely not on the forgive and forget
Mm-mm.
level,
No,
but
we definitely can't. And I've never been the person that is going to shy away from reality. Like, I'm just not.
yeah,
You did bad shit. Let's talk about it.
yeah,
Like, you did something that, or I did something to piss you off. Let's talk about it. Like, what is this whole hide from each other thing? Like, you feel how you feel. Let's figure it out.
yep,
Like, don't go back into hiding and secretly use the N word now
yep.
after publicly using it for so long. Ugh. Anyway.
Crazy times. Well, I think that brings us into our next segment, and it's pretty fitting. What are we distracting ourselves with from this massive COVID spike and election bullshit?
Well, I have been, well, as you know, I've been quite stationary.
Yeah.
So, we watched The Queen's Gambit.
Is that good?
I loved it. I actually watched it twice because I watched it all the way up to the second to last episode before he got here, and then we watched the whole thing again. It was really good. I really love that actress. I don't remember her name. It's the actress from The Witch.
Yeah,
And the
Ava Taylor something or
something
another.
something.
Yeah, I know
Anna's,
him.
I don't know. Um, and the actress that plays her younger self is brilliant. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It's so not weird. I just really liked that I was watching a show about chess. And
Yeah,
it's not, you don't have to know anything about it. It's a really great drama. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I went to go watch it and then realized it was a show and decided not to. Thought it was a
Yeah, I do that
movie.
sometimes. Yeah. That's how I felt about Ratchet. I thought that that was a movie, and then it was a show, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm that committed.
Yeah,
But other than that, I mean, I've been watching all sorts of stuff.
yeah.
I've been reading a lot again.
I saw that.
So I'm super excited. I finished this book called Beloved by Toni Morrison. I devoured it in 3 days. It is amazing. It's r- I don't know that I recommend it if I don't know you. Like
Hmm.
if I'd have to know you to be able to
Okay.
recommend it because it's like it, it's it's heavy. It's heavy.
Okay.
It's a ghost story. But it's like chock full of so much more. So much social stuff, a ton of racial stuff, colorism, motherhood, sisterhood, being lonely, community. It's just it's a phenomenal book. It was written in like 87, 86, mid 80s. Um it's just incredible. So I don't know. Look at it and decide if you have the emotional balls
All right.
or boobs to watch
Or
it.
boobs.
um, or read it. Sorry. So yeah, I read that. It's kind of been sticking to my ribs. So I started a new book, Piranesi, and I haven't gotten very far because I'm still like eating. I'm still chewing on Beloved in my head.
Sure.
So that's been really great, and I've been reading about Frederick Douglass
Ooh.
at night, which has been nice. And I've been doing the Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving marathon
Nice.
that self-imposed, just going to each season and watching
Okay. Yeah,
Thanksgiving
I do
episode.
that for American Dad, but for Christmas.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It
Yeah.
makes me so happy.
Did you watch
So,
the newest one? I just watched that yesterday.
oh yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I love it so much. My favorite is still the first one, season 3, episode 4 or something, I don't remember, but that is the one with the pass the cranberry
Okay.
sauce.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the best. And there's the My Neighbor Totoro little dream sequence.
Yeah.
Like it's it's still to this day, I think that's the best one. But
Bob's Burgers is great.
it is great. Well, how about you? What are your distractions?
All sorts of stuff. So, as I mentioned before, I've been writing music again. I wrote, recorded, and generally mixed and released. Not haven't released it yet, but my first original song in 10 years.
Mhm.
So that's good. I'm figuring out how and if I want to release it still, but it's in the
Is
can.
it
It's
not on
waiting.
SoundCloud?
It's not on SoundCloud yet. No,
Oh.
I just sent it to you directly.
Oh, snap. I thought I was
No.
one of many. Sorry. Oh, okay, okay. Cool. Yeah.
Um, on top of that, my band put out a new music video, a quarantine music video, shot from all our houses. That was a lot of fun. I'm playing a lot of Mortal Kombat on GameCube, Deadly Alliance, like a really old one.
God damn. Throwback.
What else have I been? Oh, I watched the Trial of the Chicago 7. That's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I have not looked at that at all, but it sounds heavy.
it's good. It's really good. It's got Sacha Baron Cohen's in it. He's really good. It's got Newt Scarmander,
Oh, I love him. Eddie
um,
Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne. He's also really good, and it's got JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Yes.
and he's playing a lawyer, and he's got this little suit, and it's adorable.
He always looks good in a suit or a vest or like a three-piece suit. It's
Yeah.
just like I feel like that he popped out of the womb like that because it just fits him so well. I don't understand.
Nah, because he had to watch Third Rock from the Sun when he had the long hair and he's all
Oh, I didn't
grungy.
watch that.
Oh, yeah, no, he grew into it. But and the funny part about that though, and only I noticed this, but it's got this great actress that I love called her name's Caitlin Fitzgerald, and she's like 5'10", 5'11", like she's a tall lady.
Oh.
Every single one of her scenes has her sitting down
Oh.
because Hollywood is afraid of tall women.
It so is. And so is half of America. Probably 7 million. Okay, that's not fair. But oh, it's so easy. All right, anyway.
But so yeah, just watching movies, and playing some music and doing the things.
It's a good way to be.
Yeah,
Good way to be.
it's been nice.
Yeah.
So let's get into our favorite part of this podcast. Only in a pandemic.
And major civil unrest.
Stories only that can happen during a pandemic or major civil unrest. You got one for us?
I do. It sounds lamer than it is. So stick with me.
Okay.
Only in a pandemic does Sunday feel more like Thanksgiving than Thursday. And I only say that because for a lot of people, maybe not you because you went with your family and stuff, but for a
Yeah.
lot of people that didn't do that, um, the Thursday of Thanksgiving was like, all right, it's a Thursday. I'm eating some food. And then there's football on, but the night game got canceled because of COVID.
Yep.
So the only good game that day, sorry everybody else, but not really. Like the first game was terrible. The second game was terrible.
Yeah. No, I didn't
it,
bother with the Cowboys versus Team Redacted.
it was, it was, anyway. It was not a good day for football. Um, so I stayed here. I was by myself, and I went over to a friend of mine where we do some social distance backyard stuff. So uh they grilled up some steak and had some mashed potatoes and some sides. So I went there and watched the game on their back porch and did that. And I came home and I was like, well, that kind of felt like a day, any day, normal
Yeah.
day. But Sunday, which hasn't happened as of the time of this recording, Sunday, I'm planning on going to see my partner and watching the good football and eating Thanksgiving sides and stuff that we can pick up from like Wawa or whatever.
Okay.
And that is going to end up feeling more like Thanksgiving than Thursday just because of the actual football element.
Right.
All right, what about you? What's your only pandemic story?
So only in a pandemic do you make note of where your masks are when something gets stolen, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
So I was taking inventory of what might have been in my car to bring
Hmm.
it back to my car getting stolen again. Let it go. No. Um, but I realized all my masks for going to stores was in the car.
Oh, man.
So I had to make a special trip. That's why I went to Target with a bandana that I found to go buy more
Ah,
masks.
that's a bummer.
And it's like it wasn't
Yes.
expensive. It wasn't a pain in the ass. It was just sort of a weird like I wouldn't any sort of year like I would not have thought or
No,
cared
you
about
wouldn't have
like
to be like, well, I guess I have to go to the store immediately to get masks because I won't be
exactly.
allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah, that becomes a priority. It's not like, like my sunglasses are in there. I'll get other sunglasses at some point. But
Sure,
this became
sure.
like a like I have to go get some masks now.
Yeah, yeah. They've turned into like a critical, essential, like accessory. Like you
Yeah.
have to have it.
Yep. You totes got to get these. It's the new
Oh boy.
hotness.
I don't know. I think Matt might be losing his mind.
It's been a long 400 months since COVID
Oh
started.
man. Absolutely.
So I think that's another episode. So let's close this off with our hermit levels on the Leonardo DiCaprio scale. A 10 being The Revenant, where you're out in the woods completely by yourself screaming at bears. Or a 1 being The Wolf of Wall Street, and you're having a giant party and doing blow off of hookers' asses. Where are you at?
I think I can actually say I was a 10. I mean, I wasn't screaming at bears because I don't remember what I was doing when I was going in for the surgery. Like after they gave me the good stuff before that good stuff, like I just remember, ooh, that does tickle. And then I was like, huh. like just totally out of it. And then of course it's so that you don't remember. So then
Yeah.
later on my partner was like, "Yeah, like I was still there for like a solid 20 minutes after that happened." And I was like, "Huh, I don't remember that." So I could have been screaming at bears during that time.
It
I
could
don't
have
know.
been. Yeah.
I did go to go to my friend's place. It was just me, her, and her husband. And so I guess like 9.85. But granted, this is over 2 weeks. And for that first week, it was a solid 10.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
I'm almost right with you. Barring Thanksgiving that I just had, that was actually the first time I talked to people in person in like 3 weeks.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Because the band started shutting down before the podcast shut down.
Hmm.
So I didn't see the band for long, and I was just in my in my house, just completely isolated. And the only place I went was the grocery store, and that
You and
was it.
Spumoni are like
Yep,
wearing matching PJs watching TV.
watching Always Sunny in our PJs. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, no, right up there. I have not done anything. Haven't gone anywhere. Yeah, Thanksgiving was the first time I saw like real people.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I think that's not a bad thing
Not
considering
for what's
people are dying
happening.
all over the
Yeah,
place.
for what's happening right now specifically with the peak. That's good.
Hmm.
It's okay to be a 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So where can people find us if they want to, you know, hit you up, say what's going on?
So you can find me at LUNA underscore MINUIT at Instagram and Twitter. And you can find the podcast uh, at Goth and Sloth on Twitter and Instagram, and gothandsloth at gmail.com. I haven't been super active on anything, but I'll come back around at some point. You can always hit us up and be like, post something, little lazy bum. I'll be like, all right. What about you?
I'm wizard underscore Matt on Twitter. Wizard cosplay on the Instagram. My band is Leonardo Leonardo. We're Leonardo Band on SoundCloud and Facebook. And my my band by myself is Matthew James Music 2020 on SoundCloud. And my YouTube channel is Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. I'm just about to come out with a new episode all about the Black Canary. I'm very excited about that. So that should be coming out soon.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and please wash your hands.
And wear your damn mask.